Think of a moment in your life when everything shifted because of another person. Maybe it was the friend who arrived when you were drowning in loneliness, and suddenly the world felt lighter. Or maybe it was someone who hurt you deeply, so much so that you had no choice but to grow stronger, wiser, more resilient. Sometimes the greatest changes do not come from within us first. They are sparked by the people we meet. Their presence leaves an imprint, and life is never the same afterward. Pause for a second and bring that memory closer. Can you see the face of that person? Do you remember the feeling in your chest the first time they appeared? It could be someone who stayed for years, shaping your journey slowly, or someone who passed through in a flash, leaving behind a lesson you could not ignore. These encounters carve their marks on us, as real and permanent as rivers carving valleys through stone. But here is the question we rarely ask ourselves. Are these encounters mere accidents, random collisions in a chaotic world? Or are they necessary parts of our journey, placed there with intention, as if the universe itself conspired to arrange the meeting? The Stoics would have answered without hesitation. Nothing is random. To them, every event, every encounter, every face you meet along the road belongs to the great order of nature. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote that all things are woven together with a sacred bond. Imagine that. Life as a tapestry, threads crossing and intertwining, each thread a person, each intersection a meeting that shifts the design. Remove even one, and the pattern changes forever. If this is true, then the people you meet are not simply drifting into your life by chance. They are there to serve a purpose, sometimes to strengthen you, sometimes to soften you, sometimes to awaken virtues you would never have discovered otherwise. Some bring joy, others bring pain, but all bring transformation. Think about the ones who challenged you, the ones who seemed to stand in your way, who tested your patience or wounded your heart. At first it feels like misfortune, even cruelty. But look again through the eyes of a Stoic. Those individuals did not come to destroy you. They came to reveal you. They forced you to see what lies within, your anger, your attachment, your courage, your endurance. Without them, those hidden parts of you would remain dormant. And what of those who lifted you up, the ones who reminded you of kindness, of trust, of love? Their role is no less vital. They show you what is possible in the human heart, proving that goodness exists even in the midst of suffering. They remind you that no one walks this path entirely alone. So the next time someone steps into your life, whether through friendship, conflict, love, or loss, consider this. Perhaps they were always meant to arrive exactly when they did. Perhaps they were sent as teachers disguised as companions or adversaries to shape the person you are becoming. If we accept this, then every meeting becomes sacred. No longer do we dismiss the stranger who smiles at us, or the critic who insults us, or the loved one who departs too soon. Instead, we begin to ask, what is the hidden purpose of this encounter? What lesson waits to be uncovered? This way of seeing transforms life itself. No experience is wasted. No person is meaningless. Every face that crosses your path belongs to the great design of nature, and you, in turn, are part of the design in the lives of others. As we open this reflection, carry this thought with you. The people who enter your world do not arrive by accident. They are threads woven into the story of your becoming. Some will stay for a chapter, some only for a line, but each is necessary, each is purposeful, each is part of the fabric that makes you who you are. If every encounter carries meaning, then we must ask, how should we view the people who cross our paths, especially those who are difficult, unkind, or unfair? For this we turn to the wisdom of the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, a man who bore the weight of an empire on his shoulders, began each day by reminding himself of the people he would meet. He wrote, "Today I shall encounter the selfish, the arrogant, the deceitful, the envious, the ungrateful." These words may sound heavy, almost pessimistic, but listen carefully. He was not complaining, he was preparing. He understood that these individuals could not truly harm him because their actions came from ignorance, not malice. They were fellow human beings bound by the same nature, stumbling through life as best they could. To see them this way transformed annoyance into compassion and resistance into acceptance. Epictetus, once a slave, offered a sharper perspective. He said that people serve as mirrors, revealing the state of our own character. When someone insults us and we erupt in anger, the problem is not the insult itself, it is our lack of mastery over the self. The insult only shines a light on a weakness already within. In this sense, others become tools of self-discovery. The impatient driver, the rude stranger, the boastful colleague, they do not create our flaws, they expose them. And once exposed, we have the chance to overcome them. Seneca, the Roman statesman, added another layer. He argued that enemies are not to be cursed, but valued. Why? Because they provide the resistance necessary for growth, just as fire tempers steel. Without challenges, virtues remain soft, untested, and fragile. But when tested by opposition, patience becomes real patience, courage becomes real courage, forgiveness becomes real forgiveness. Our adversaries, then, are not barriers. They are blacksmiths hammering our souls into something stronger, sharper, more resilient. Do you see the pattern? To the Stoics, people are never obstacles. They are exercises. Each interaction, pleasant or painful, is a chance to practice virtue, to polish the rough edges of the soul. Imagine life as a gymnasium, and every person you meet as part of the training equipment. Some are heavy weights, others are lighter, but all serve the same purpose, to strengthen you. This perspective changes everything. Instead of wishing for an easier life with fewer conflicts and softer people, we begin to see the value in those who test us. We stop cursing them, and we start thanking them. For without them we would remain weak, untested, unrefined. And so the Stoic view of human encounters is clear. No one enters your life by accident, and no one is wasted. The selfish teach you generosity. The arrogant teach you humility. The deceitful teach you honesty. The ungrateful teach you the beauty of gratitude. Even those who wound you are, in their own way, serving your growth. Carry this with you as you reflect on your own encounters. Who in your life right now is testing your patience, your compassion, your strength? Instead of resenting them, could you begin to see them as teachers in disguise? If you can, then every moment of conflict becomes an opportunity. Every difficult person becomes part of your training, and every encounter, no matter how painful, becomes a stepping stone on the path to becoming who you were always meant to be. If every encounter has purpose, then every relationship carries a lesson. Some of these lessons arrive gently, wrapped in kindness and warmth, while others arrive like storms, shaking us to our core. Yet in each case, the Stoics remind us, what matters is not the form of the meeting, but the lesson it brings. Consider first the kind and generous. These are the people who remind us of the sweetness of humanity. Their gestures may be small, a smile when you needed one most, a stranger holding the door on a day when you felt invisible, a friend who listens without judgment. These acts awaken gratitude and humility. They show us that goodness does not need to be grand to be powerful. And in their presence, we are reminded of our shared humanity, of the quiet strength found in compassion. Then there are the difficult ones, the impatient driver who honks in anger, the colleague whose temper flares at the smallest mistake, the neighbor who seems to find fault in everything. These encounters test us. They pull at the threads of our patience and ask, can you remain calm when the world grows turbulent? Their role is not to make our lives easier, but to help us practice self-control, to remain steady when storms rage around us. Without them, how would we know the depth of our calm? More painful still are those who betray us. Perhaps a friend who broke trust, or a loved one who walked away without explanation. These moments cut deep because they strike at the illusions we build, illusions of permanence, of control, of certainty. Betrayal strips away those illusions and forces us to face what is fragile in our attachments. It teaches resilience, forgiveness, and the courage to begin again when the ground beneath us feels shattered. Though bitter, this lesson is among the most necessary. It reminds us that we cannot place our worth in the actions of others, but must anchor it within ourselves. There are also those who guide us, the mentors. They come in many forms, a teacher, a parent, a friend, even a book that stirs something sleeping within us. Mentors do not give us wisdom, they awaken it. Their presence reminds us of what we are capable of becoming. They challenge us to rise higher, to see beyond the limits we once believed were fixed. In their guidance, we discover truths that were always there, waiting for the right spark. And then there are the strangers, the fleeting encounters that last no more than a moment. A passing word on the street, a smile exchanged at a bus stop, even a harsh comment from someone we will never see again. These moments may seem insignificant, but their echoes can last for years. They remind us that even the briefest meeting has weight. A single word can change a decision. A single act can redirect a life. Even strangers are woven into the fabric of our growth. So take a step back and look at the people around you. What if every single one of them, the kind, the difficult, the betrayers, the mentors, the strangers, was chosen as a teacher? What if their role in your life is not random, but deliberate? Imagine the power of living with this awareness. Suddenly you no longer ask, why me? Instead you ask, what is this encounter teaching me? And when you begin to live in that question, every relationship becomes a classroom, every moment a lesson. Life itself becomes your teacher, and the people around you, whether gentle or harsh, become instruments of your transformation. When we think of human encounters, our minds often drift to the past, friends, family, mentors, adversaries. But what about now, in the age of screens and endless connections? Today, encounters happen faster, briefer, and often with less weight. We swipe, we scroll, we ghost, we block. A conversation that once might have lasted weeks can now vanish in seconds with the tap of a finger. Relationships can feel disposable, as if people are no longer threads in a tapestry but fleeting images flashing by on a screen. Yet even in this modern world, the Stoic perspective still holds true. No encounter is wasted. Every interaction, no matter how brief or digital, carries meaning. The critic who comments on your social media post, they are not just a stranger with harsh words. They are an opportunity to test your detachment. Will you be shaken by their opinion, or will you remember that your worth does not rest on external approval? The message left unread, the friend who doesn't respond, the silence that feels heavy, these too are not empty. They are practice grounds for independence, training you to stand firm in your own self-worth. Marcus Aurelius ruled the greatest empire of his time, yet he never dismissed the significance of those around him. Each day he reflected on the people he encountered, from senators and generals to servants and strangers. He knew that every meeting, no matter how ordinary, was shaping him for the challenges ahead. If an emperor could see such weight in each encounter, how much more should we, in our smaller worlds, see the value in ours? The danger of the modern age is not that encounters lack meaning. It is that we forget to notice their meaning. We rush past them, treating people as distractions, conveniences, or obstacles. But when we slow down, when we pause long enough to reflect, even the smallest exchanges begin to reveal their hidden purpose. Think about the barista who hands you coffee each morning. To most, it's nothing more than a transaction. But what if it is more than that? What if that daily smile is a reminder of consistency, of kindness offered without expectation? Or consider the stranger whose harsh comment online stings for a moment. What if that sting is an invitation to practice detachment, to remember that your peace is not theirs to disturb? There is no wasted encounter. The Stoics remind us that life is a moral training ground, and every person you meet is part of your exercise. In this light, even the briefest contact carries weight. Even the stranger you will never meet again has played their role in shaping you. So the question is not whether these modern encounters matter. The question is, are we paying attention? Are we treating them as disposable, or are we willing to search for the lesson hidden within them? Because if we begin to see them clearly, then even in a world of swipes and scrolling, every connection, no matter how fleeting, becomes another thread in the tapestry of our becoming. So far, we've reflected on the hidden meaning of encounters, from the kindness of friends to the challenges of adversaries. But philosophy is never meant to remain abstract. The Stoics believed wisdom must be lived, practiced daily, tested in the furnace of real life. If every person we meet is a teacher, then how do we learn from them more deliberately? How do we transform ordinary interactions into exercises that shape our character? The first practice is evening reflection. At the close of the day, when the noise of the world has softened, take a quiet moment and review the faces and voices you encountered. Ask yourself, what did these interactions reveal about me? Did anger rise when someone cut me off in traffic? Did gratitude awaken when a friend showed kindness? Did pride swell when I received praise? Each encounter leaves behind a trace of who you are becoming. By reflecting each night, you turn those traces into lessons, shaping tomorrow with greater awareness. Another practice is reframing pain. When betrayed or hurt, it is natural to ask, "Why me?" But the Stoic asks a different question. What virtue is being tested here? If someone wounds you, perhaps it is your patience that is being refined. If trust is broken, perhaps it is your courage to begin again that is being summoned. If you are misunderstood, perhaps forgiveness is the lesson waiting to be learned. Pain does not arrive to destroy you. It arrives to train you. And by reframing pain as a teacher, you reclaim power over it. Equally important is how we handle praise. Compliments can be as dangerous as insults, for they tempt us to tie our worth to the opinions of others. When someone admires your work, your appearance, or your success, pause and ask, "Am I depending on this approval to feel whole, or can I be content without it?" Praise is pleasant, but it must never become the anchor of your identity. The Stoic way is to receive it with gratitude, but to remain unshaken if it is withdrawn. There is also the practice of detachment. In the modern world, silence often feels like rejection. A message ignored, an invitation declined, a glance overlooked, and suddenly we question our value. But these moments too are training grounds. They teach us independence, reminding us that our worth does not depend on recognition. By practicing detachment, we learn to stand firm within ourselves, unshaken by the shifting tides of attention. Finally, the Stoics often wrote notes to themselves as reminders of their daily lessons. You can do the same. Each evening, write a single line. This person taught me patience. This person reminded me to be kind. This one showed me where I still have work to do. Over time, these notes become a record of growth, proof that every encounter, whether joyful or painful, contributed to the person you are becoming. Philosophy lives not in books, but in practice. When you begin to apply these exercises, reflection, reframing, detachment, and daily notes, you start to see every meeting, every challenge, every kindness with new eyes. Life ceases to feel random. It begins to feel purposeful, woven together in a way that both humbles and strengthens you. When we step back from the details of each day, a bigger picture begins to emerge. Every encounter, every fleeting exchange, every friendship and conflict, they are not isolated events. Together they form a tapestry, a woven fabric where every thread matters. Some threads are bright, filled with joy and warmth. Others are dark, carrying pain and loss. Some are thick and enduring, while others are fragile and short-lived. But remove even one, and the pattern changes. This is the truth of human life. No one enters it without leaving a mark. Even those you thought insignificant have altered the design in ways you may not see yet. The smile of a stranger, the harsh word of a critic, the kindness of a friend, the betrayal of a confidant. Each one is a stitch in the larger cloth of your becoming. Without them, you would not be the same. Without them, your story would not unfold as it has. The Stoics teach us to embrace this design through the idea of amor fati, the love of fate. To love fate is not merely to accept what happens, but to welcome it as necessary, as part of the grand story of your life. It means seeing not just the joyful encounters as blessings, but also the painful ones, for both belong to the same fabric. Both are threads that give your life depth, contrast, and meaning. Imagine your life as a novel. Every person you meet is a character in its pages. Some remain for many chapters, shaping the direction of the story. Others appear briefly, then vanish, yet their presence still shifts the path. Even the villains have purpose. Without them, there would be no test of courage, no challenge to overcome, no reason for the hero to grow. Think of your own life in this way. The friend who walked beside you during your hardest years was not random. They were woven into your story to show you the power of loyalty. The one who wounded you was not meaningless. They were there to teach you strength, resilience, forgiveness. The stranger who offered kindness was not a coincidence. They were proof that light exists even in unexpected places. When you begin to see life as a tapestry, the resentment softens, the confusion quiets. You no longer see encounters as accidents or mistakes. You begin to see them as necessary, even the painful ones, because without them, you would not be who you are. And perhaps this is the true secret of amor fati, that the purpose of each encounter is not always clear in the moment, but when seen from a distance, when viewed in the larger fabric, it reveals itself as essential. Your life is not stitched together by chance. It is a design in which every person, every meeting, every joy and sorrow has its place. In the end, every encounter becomes a mirror. Some reflect the kindness we give, others reveal the wounds we still carry, and a few awaken in us a strength we didn't know we had. Life, in its mysterious wisdom, uses people as instruments of growth, sometimes soft and melodic, sometimes sharp and challenging, yet always meaningful. The Stoics remind us that nothing is wasted. The friend who lifted you in a time of despair, the stranger whose brief words still echo in your mind, even the adversary who tested your patience, all are threads in the tapestry of your becoming. Each encounter, whether fleeting or lasting, whether gentle or harsh, leaves behind a lesson, a mark, a gift. To live with awareness is to notice these gifts, to treasure them, and to let them shape you without bitterness. For when you see every meeting as purposeful, life stops feeling random. It begins to feel like a dialogue between you, the world, and the greater order that guides both. So as you walk forward, open your heart to the encounters yet to come. Greet them not with suspicion nor with fear, but with curiosity, for no one comes into your life by chance, and every soul you meet has something to give, even if the gift is only a deeper understanding of yourself. If these reflections resonated with you, consider sharing your thoughts below. Your experiences, your encounters, may become the very spark someone else needs today. And if you wish to continue walking this path together, I invite you to subscribe, to return, and to grow alongside this community of seekers. For in this space, too, your presence is no accident.